September is Life Insurance Awareness Month. Welcome in everybody to our fourth and final webinar training series for Life Insurance Awareness Month of 2024. This is week 4, the final week of our Life Insurance Awareness Month, where we're picking apart different products, life insurance products, to show you some of the sizzle on what makes life insurance awareness and what life insurance products can do for your clients and how you can better serve your clients and better spread the news on what life insurance can do for your clients, their friends, their family, and so on. You can serve multiple generations. My name is Matt Alina, and I work on the Life Markets team here at URL Insurance Group. And this week, we're going to be talking about the multiple functions of final expense life insurance. There's some misconceptions about what final expense life insurance is. We're going to break that down. But what is final expense life insurance? Final expense is a type of whole life insurance plan. It is life insurance. Let me reiterate that. It is life insurance. A lot of times people are purchasing it and it's designed to cover end of life expenses. Some people may refer to final expense insurance or final expense life insurance as burial insurance, funeral insurance, but it is life insurance. We'll get into multiple functions. Folks, it does not have to just pay for funeral expenses. It can be used for many other reasons. It is a simplified issue underwriting experience. That means that there are no exams, no medical records. Either the client qualifies for the plan or they don't qualify for the plan. The underwriting experience is not this long, drawn-out process that goes on for weeks and weeks and weeks. One of the misconceptions about final expense is that it's simplified issue with no exams, no medical records, is that it's guaranteed issue. It isn't that. There are guaranteed issue plans, but our goal is to get people into a plan that is not guaranteed issue, that's going to work better for the client. Guaranteed issue plans, just so you're aware, a little side note, that's where there's no questions asked. There's generally a 2 or a 3 year limited benefit on those plans. So in the first 2 or 3 years, if the client were to pass away, the beneficiary is not getting the full death benefit. So a lot of people are purchasing final expense life insurance plans to cover funeral costs. It covers the funeral service, caskets, burial, cremation fees. If a person is being cremated with a memorial service, they're probably looking at a ballpark of about $7,000 for a cremation. That's the average cost today in most areas. Certain regions of the country, in more urban areas where land is at a premium, larger cities, those services are more expensive. Burial with a casket, grave, so on, that's about $12,000 to about $15,000. For some of our clients, some of the people that we know, they don't have $7,000 to $15,000 sitting around for them, for the family to be able to use for that, for funeral expenses. They can't, essentially, they can't afford to die. If they died today, their family is going to be taking up a collection, probably crowdfunding. Go to GoFundMe.com. You'll see how many people, there's millions of people looking for money for funeral costs, to pay for burials, things like that. So again, the average expenses range between $7,000 and $12,000. Funeral homes are in a service and they're in a business. They are not doing it out of the goodness of their heart. When a person passes away, the named beneficiary receives the benefits from that life insurance policy, and it avoids probate, and it is tax-free money. So if it's a $12,000 benefit or a $15,000 or a $20,000 benefit that they're getting from the policy, they do not pay taxes on that money. Many people are using the benefits to cover the funeral costs so that the family does not have to come up with the money. They don't have to put it on a credit card. They don't have to tap into their own savings. This is money. They're taking responsibility for their own personal responsibility for their funeral arrangements and making sure that the family has the money to carry it through. So we talked about final expense and how it can cover funeral costs, cremation, all of that. It can also be used for paying off medical bills. Remember, the main operating word is life insurance. Life insurance policies can do a whole number of things. Final expense is just kind of a marketing thing that it is targeting older individuals that may or may not have pre-existing health conditions. So people can use this, the families can use this money to pay off medical bills. When they receive that money tax-free, the bills don't stop. So they may have to, instead of having to dip into their own pocket, into their own resources to eat into a parent's or grandparent's estate, they can utilize that money, the death benefit, to pay off the hospital bills. They can use it to pay off the hospice expenses, things like that. It can provide financial relief for the family. It gives the family peace of mind knowing that they don't have to come up with the funds to pay off those medical expenses or those hospice expenses. Another function that final expense provides is it provides money to help settle an estate. There's legal fees, there's probate fees, but not with life insurance. So it covers all of those costs. It provides cash on hand, so the family doesn't have to float that money and wait for the insurance policy to pay for it or wait for the estate to kind of reimburse them. It doesn't do that. It provides them cash in hand. Again, I mentioned this before. I'll mention it again. Life insurance death benefits avoid probate and they avoid taxes. It also, one of the functions of a final expense life insurance plan is that it can also ensure a smoother transition from one generation to the other generation. So the estate goes from the parents to the children or even to the grandchildren. It ensures that smoother transition. Final expense can also help with handling debts. So when a person dies, they're gone, but some of their bills will keep on coming in. Some people leave a surviving spouse and they have joint credit cards. Those credit card bills are still going to come. Personal loans, those loan payments are still going to come. Rent, mortgage, those bills are still going to come. And it helps either the surviving spouse or the surviving family to have money, again, cash on hand, to start paying off some of these debts, some of these things. It helps buy them time. So if they're trying to settle mom or dad's estate and they were renting a place or renting a condo or they were having a mortgage payment, the landlord, the bank still wants its money. So this buys them time to be able to continue. They can use that death benefit to continue paying those payments, making those payments, so that the mortgage isn't foreclosed on, or the somebody isn't evicted and mom and dad's stuff is put out at the curb. It doesn't happen like that. They can use that money to continue to make those monthly payments until everything is settled. Payouts can also be used for replacing lost income. We've done a series here called the Social Security Protection Plan. A lot of people are relying on their sole source of income is Social Security. When they die, let's say you're dealing with a husband and wife, when one of them dies, the surviving spouse gets to keep the greater of the two benefits, but they lose the lesser benefit. We can show you how to protect that lesser benefit so that it buys them time. Beneficiaries can use this death benefit for many, many, many different purposes, not just funeral costs. It provides peace of mind. It provides financial flexibility during a challenging time. Do you think if you've ever planned a funeral, did you experience some unexpected expenses, unexpected costs that were there that you didn't plan for? Absolutely you did. And this life insurance policy, can help weather the storm and help you be flexible, or help the clients be flexible. Final expense life insurance. It's easy to qualify. It targets people typically between the ages of 50 and 80, but there are companies that start at younger ages, and there are companies that'll go to older ages as well. I mentioned before, there are no medical questions, or no medical exams, no medical records, just a few health questions. It's accessible to most individuals with pre-existing health conditions. Somebody could have had a heart attack, stroke, cancer. They may have COPD, emphysema, a whole host of other health problems. But if it's under control, if it's managed well, if they haven't had a heart attack, cancer, or stroke in the last 3 to 5 years, they can qualify for a day one benefit. Now, let's say you have a client that is end-stage renal failure, or they're currently going through cancer treatment, or they recently had a heart attack maybe 2 months ago. These are all real scenarios that I've had to encounter working with agents and the partners with URL. That's when guaranteed issue plans come into play. But guaranteed issue plans are kind of a carve out of final expense. The goal for a final expense sale, of talking to somebody about final expense, is getting them a benefit that starts immediately. That means that when the client passes away, whether it's a week from now, a month from now, a year, or 10 years from now, that benefit is available immediately. Guaranteed issue plans are the companies that we have. It's a 2-year limited benefit. What does that mean? It means that if the client dies in the first 2 years of owning the policy, the beneficiary is going to get back all of the premiums that were paid into the policy plus 10% interest. The plans that we offer here are going to be cheaper than what they see advertised on TV, and the payouts are better than what they see advertised on TV and through mail order. Let's take a look at final expense and compare it to some of the other options that they have. Typically, when I am talking to somebody, and if somebody's in their 60s or 70s and they're looking for a term policy and they're looking for it to pay for last expenses, I usually try to encourage them to look at a permanent policy versus term. The reason is they may outlive a term plan. Final expense, they are smaller benefits. Typically, you can start around $5,000, though some of the plans will go up to $25,000, $30,000, $40,000, or even $50,000. It provides permanent protection, meaning that they pay a rate. That rate is locked in for the rest of their life. As long as they pay that premium, they will never outlive the death benefit. Term insurance is typically benefits that start around $50,000. Most companies start at $100,000, but there are some companies that start at $50,000. So it's larger benefits. Typically, there is more underwriting involved, so they may or may not have to do a medical exam, but They may also have to go after medical records, and it can become a long and drawn out process. One of the problems with term is that term eventually terminates. A final expense plan may be more expensive today than comparing the rates today for both people or for both products. But eventually that term rate is going to go away and they're going to have nothing, where if they got that permanent policy, it's steady Eddie the entire time. The other difference that people have, and some of us run into this, is those prepaid funeral plans. Final expense plans are more flexible, meaning, and I showed this earlier, I highlighted it earlier, is that the beneficiary can use the money for any reason, for settling estates, the legal fees, to paying for a funeral, medical expenses, hospice, whatever it is. They can use that even to give as a gift to their children or grandchildren. The funds for a prepaid funeral plan are used solely for prepaid funeral plans, for the funeral. Funds can be used, so prepaid funeral plans, that's it. That is all that money can be earmarked to do. So final expense, more flexible, can work with multiple pre-existing medical conditions. It can be used for multiple reasons. So let's summarize everything that we've talked about this morning. And these webinar series are not long, just enough to kind of wet your whistle. We do have additional training and resources that we do every week here at URL to emphasize the importance of offering final expense, as well as other traditional life, whether it's term, UL, single premium, all of that. But again, final expense with the aging population. America is getting older. The population is aging. Final expense is the fastest growing market or segment within the life insurance marketplace. Final expense provides coverage that never terminates as long as the premiums are paid. Final expense, no medical exams are required. Underwriting is very relaxed. There are companies that don't ask height and weight. There are companies that don't ask about tobacco use. They will take most pre-existing medical conditions. Final expense benefits can be used for more than just funerals and burials and cremations. It can be used to replace income. It can be used to replace or to pay for legal fees. It can be used to keep paying off those pesky debts that are still rolling in from mom or dad or surviving or from the deceased, or money for the spouse to use for when their spouse passes away, to continue to make those credit card payments, pay off those pesky credit cards and things like that. Final expense provides financial flexibility and relieves the financial burden to loved ones, family, heirs. That is some of the multiple purposes and multiple functions of what final expense life insurance can do. Feel free to give me a call at any time. You can reach me at 717-216-8041. That's it. That's the last of our final expense, or for the September Life Insurance Awareness Month, our final installment. Take advantage of this. Continue to share the importance of what life insurance does and how it provides peace of mind, relieves financial stress just by having a policy. Having something is better than having nothing at all. And with that, thank you very much for your time. And I look forward to working with you and helping you on your next life case. Bye for now.